woman. I thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget before you exit to hit the like and the subscribe button. I thank all of you who have been hitting that button for me as we work to grow your support for this channel. So here is the deal. Martell Holts participated in an interview called Kim Ministry. I think it's going to be airing on Fox Soul. So shout out to the founder, Nicole Scott. He did an interview with her on Instagram where he reflected on his marriage, right, and his regrets. And I guess because it was broadcast on national television, he really saw how everything he did to his marriage and his family was magnified. So anyway, so she gets into the conversation with Martell, and he talks about that there was rejection in his relationship. Well, we know he talked about that on the show. Remember that scene where they were sitting outside on the friend's back porch, and he was telling Mel that he had a right to go cheat on her because she wasn't taking care of him at home. And I think she threw something at him because she was so insulted and offended. Well, I guess he has learned his lesson. So anyway, that arrogance that was represented there seems like it is no more. But what do we know? Only time will tell. So he said that his marriage to Mel was his only real relationship. I guess that would make sense because they were together 12 years. So I guess that was his first real serious relationship. And that he said what really brought this all to light to him, because Mel and he have not filmed together for 4 to 5 months. And they filmed together for the first time in the last week. So he recognized and he's so grateful that they're in a better place. Remember in my last review, I said Mel is quiet. She is not interacting with anyone really, especially Martell. And the whole dynamic of the show has changed because they are not filming together. But would you film with him? And if he dragged you through the mud on national television, if you are not filming with her, we're going to have to take you off the show. So what does that mean? That he hits his pockets. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Because the arrogance that we saw before, we did not see in this Instagram. So make sure you go over to Nicole Scott and check out the full Instagram post. But I guess he realized if I can't film with Mel, I get no airtime, and then my contract will probably be null and voided or very little. So I'm sure that played a part of it in it. So he goes on to say they finally filmed together. They're getting back in a big and better place. He recognizes the way his actions and behavior cause Mel to suffer and his kids. Now, one thing I do know, you can tell Martell loves his kids, all of his children. He's present. We don't know by how much, but at least, he's committed to providing the best relationship with his kids that is possible, because of course we never know what's going on behind the scenes. But from what I've seen in day-to-day life, he is present. So anyway, so he said they finally fell together, and listen to this. He said there is no money, no press that would make him change or say anything else against Mel or their relationship, because they are in a better place of co-parenting. And for him, this is big, that is more valuable than money or press. So wow, can you imagine if he had this perspective when he was still married? He wouldn't even have to be in this situation right now. Wow. But you know what? He goes on and talks about the consequences. He really wished he had not complained so much, been so self-consumed, and even when there were times of rejection, he wished he would just set his butt down and say, okay, I'll catch you next week. That's literally what he said, because he realized he has paid a high cost. And he said that he had all of his children with him, I guess the other baby as well. And he likes the fact that all of them are in the house together with him. But he reflected on the time when the kids would come and jump in the bed with him and Mel in the morning and had genuine happiness. Gosh, I don't know what people are thinking when they decide to go outside their marriages. Don't they know there are real consequences and real trials? And don't they know that the children always suffer? I don't care how old they are. I don't care if they're 2 or 17. The children always suffer. And it's not about you. But unfortunately for him, it's way too late. It's way too late for him to come to the realization of truth and how what he did really, really, really hurts the kids. And it's going to be a long time before they have genuine smiles again. Because he says they're spending 7 days with him and then 7 days with Mel, which I think is a great strategy. Because I know for me, when my children were going to visit their dad, it was every other weekend, but it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I love that because it's a real more time for bonding. And it gives the other parent a full, I hate to say a full break, because when you're single, I would have welcomed the whole 7 days of just being able to focus on other things. But it didn't work out that way. I love my kids so much, so it didn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me if they picked them up or not, because why? I'm their mama. So I'm going to take care of them, and to me, it's not a burden. Sometimes other parents who are not the primary parent try to make you feel like it's a burden. It's not a burden. It's a joy. So anyway, I got off on a tangent there. But anyway, so Martell says that he really messed up, and he does not want to go backwards. I'm telling you, I honestly believe somebody talked to Martell and said, man, you're messing up your money. You're messing up your money because Mel won't even film with you. What do we know about all of the other reality TV shows? When the cast members start to ice you out and don't film with you, what's the next thing? You out of there. That's it. Production gets rid of you because you no longer have any value. What are you going to do? Bring in a whole bunch of people just to film with you? Because remember, even in the last segment, Kimmy said she was upset with him. She didn't even want him at the housewarming party because of all of the drama he brings with Mel. So I'm sure maybe Carlos King put a bug in there and say, man, you need to get this right. You need to get this right. So it's going to be interesting to see how they film now as co-parents. It's going to be very interesting to see. Because Miss Mel, I'm telling you, you can tell she was the backbone of the relationship. She's still thriving. She's managing her family. She's growing her businesses. But to be drugged like that on national television, ooh, my goodness, that is something. So we shall see, even though Miss Wanda and them said that she knew about the relationship for years. And even remember Mel, when they were, I think they were in Vegas, and Mel insinuated that she planned their divorce because she had already written a song. I don't know if there's any truth to any of that. Anyway, I just want to talk about where Martell says he is now. Let me go back to what I came on here for. So he said they both experienced rejection and that time heals everything. Okay, that is not true. Time makes it more bearable, but time does not heal everything. I'm going to tell you, in 10 years, Mel's going to still feel some kind of way. She could be remarried, children grown. She's going to still have a moment in her gut where she's going to feel some kind of way. Time makes it bearable. It does not heal all wounds. Okay, let's be real. Because if you've been in a relationship, it does not heal all wounds. Sure, you reflect and you say, I should have done things differently. I'm in a better place. It worked out for the best. But you feel some kind of way. I think for him to say time heals everything, it's easier because he was the one doing the damage. So he wants to believe, after a year, he said, that everything is hunky-dory. But that is not so. So I guess if they had get in a conversation and it's heated, then he'll know what's still stirring in Mel's soul. He'll know for sure. But I guess he wants to lessen his role as the villain. So, he has to convince himself. Because, we're not convinced. But like I said, only time will tell. So he said he did not realize. He wished he would have understood the magnitude of his behavior and the consequences of his behavior. But his goal right now is to make sure his children are okay and he's no longer affecting them by his behavior, which I think is incredible. So shout out once again to Miss Chanel Nicole Scott, because she asked him one great question. She said, would you do anything differently? And he said he would just sat down whenever there was a conflict with his wife or he felt rejected. He wished he would have just accepted it and sat down. Because he said he loves marriage, and he looks back now and said, wow, I had a great family. He said him and Mel were the dynamic duo. They were a great couple. They just got busy. And look back, everything that he complained about, this is what they talk about, the grass is always green on the other side. Never true. He said everything he complained about, he realized now they were very small matters. And what do they call about? Remember the Tyler Perry movie, Why Did I Get Married? They talked about the 80-20 rule. When you're only getting 20% looks big, and then you get out there and realize the other person is just 20%. Well, that's a part of what he's going through. 80-20 rule. When you in it and it's every day, then it looks like, what you're seeing out there is more interesting, less stressful. But it really isn't better. It really doesn't give you more. But it's too late for him to reflect in that way, right? But he said he really wished that he had done things differently. And when God started giving or showing him, or he wished that God would have shown him the consequences before or during his escapades. Is that the right word? His rendezvous. Anyway, he wished that he would have known what the consequences would have been. He would have, that's it. He wished he would have seen the end from the beginning. But come on, we all know consequences. And can you imagine, and they're in a small town, and he's running the streets like that? We only know the half of it. We don't know the full story. So it's good to see, because I think everybody deserves a chance to grow, to rebuild, to self-correct. But once again, like I said, only time will tell if this is a genuine remorse or he realized his pockets are going to be affected and impacted, because nobody wants to film with him. And if nobody wants to film with you, he can't be on the show. I, as a parent, hope that it is genuine and that he really wants to do this for no one else, not even himself, not even for Mel, not even to get in the good graces of Mel to film, but for those 5 children who would call him dad, right? That'll be the biggest win of this all, because he can fall flat on his face and still come out as the great dad. That's still the one thing that's doable in this whole situation, right? Because they're young, and I hope he tells them, I'm sorry. He needs to tell them, I'm sorry. He needs to verbalize that, right? As parents, we think because we're the parents, we don't make mistakes and we don't need to apologize to our children. But we do, because we screw up. Why? Because we're human. And sometimes when you're a parent, this is your first time parenting. You didn't do it before. Once you start having kids, this is your first time. Even if you have 2, 3, or 4, it's still your first time. This is your first time with 4 kids. So the goal is to make sure there's a relationship and they know that you're trying to do better. So hopefully Martell is genuine in his conversation, genuine in his behavior, and it's more than about being able to film. But that his comments about his children and having genuine smiles, I hope that really is his goal. Because I think when parents go through a divorce or the relationships start to fall apart, they never remember the kids. I know that when I got through a divorce, I look back now, I say, man, I never sat them down and say, hey, your dad and I are going to get a divorce. It just happened. They just knew it was something different. That was a big mistake on my part. I should have sat them down and explained it. They probably heard me yell it, but I don't think I explained it. So even now, as they're older, I continue to apologize to my kids to do. Because we want them to be what? Healthy adults. Healthy adults, right? And we want them to understand when you know you've done something wrong, hey, it's more popular or more necessary to apologize than to act like you did nothing wrong. So anyway, that's a whole nother conversation that I didn't mean to get into, but I think everybody deserves a reset. So hopefully this is a new Martell, because he now understands the true cost of his behavior. Well, thank you for stopping by. This is the Chatty Chairwoman. I thank all of you that are hitting the subscribe button to help this very small YouTuber grow. But I still need some comments and I still need some likes. Hey, I need some engagement. Hey, are you out there? Let me know you're out there. Let me tell you something. Getting somebody to hit a like or to subscribe is harder than getting a contract for my business. Woo! Let me tell you, you guys are making me work, and I'm not mad, because my goal is to deliver. But you know what? I appreciate your time. This is a Chatty Chairwoman. Bye-bye.